1 second. Let me just
And
blend.
are
Okay.
live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rising Up with Jeryl. I am your host, Jeryl, and it is my great pleasure to introduce to you C. Meghan Michael. C, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here, but I want to just tell everybody who you are.
Thank you.
C. Meghan Michael is a seer, a seeker, visionary, and medium. She is the host of High Vibrational Mastery's Sunday live stream event, where she presents spiritual thought leaders from around our world and beyond. See, Megan naturally holds a very high frequency, and I can attest to that. She is amazing. When I first got here with her, it was like I feel like I went from zero to 160 seconds. It's amazing. She works with and she inspires others to raise their own vibration, inspiring them to create their most amazing reality. Follow C. Meghan Michael in High Vibrational Mastery as she raises the vibration of the planet one soul at a time. Megan, I have goosebumps. I am so excited to have you here. I have been seeing you for years on Facebook, and I'm so happy that we finally made this connection. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Jeryl. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to be here. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I really am. A little nervous, but totally thrilled.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I don't know why my phone is going crazy here. Give me just a second.
No problem. Am I able to shrink this and because I'd like to just share it to my group and then everything else can just do itself.
That's absolutely fine. You go ahead and share it out.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then I don't know who's here, but whoever's here, if you know my pages that I shared to, please go ahead and do that. But definitely High Vibrational Mastery, the group, because I said I would be there.
Awesome.
Where are we?
Yes.
I'm on maybe I just need to refresh the page. I'm so sorry. It'll just take me 1 second.
Oh no, that's no problem at all. Everybody will wait. That's not a big deal. And for those of you out there, please share out. This would be wonderful for you to share out our show.
Hi, Terry Angel. Okay, now I'm seeing people. Diane, hello. Deirdre, hello. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So let's share.
Hail, the gang's all here.
Awesome. Share it to my group. Awesome. And guys, please go ahead. Oh, I'll share it to my page too. That'll be join us now.
Please do. And let me go back. So I've got us here. Okay. And we probably should have different, we'll probably have different streams depending on where you shared it to. I do want to let everyone know tonight's going to be a little bit different. I think when you all are used to seeing C on, she's doing readings or she's interviewing someone. Well, tonight's going to be different in the sense that she's going to just talk to us about how we can raise our vibration. And if time permits or if spirit moves us, she might have a message for the collective at the end. But we're really going to get to know who C. Meghan Michael is tonight from a different perspective, if you will. So I think it's going to be a great evening of conversation. I really do.
I do too. And I'm really excited. It's my last place I'm sharing just to the story.
That is absolutely
and share. So yes, please everybody do share. Oh, lots of love. We're getting lots of love. Thank you.
Yes, we are. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love love.
I do. I love love. So yes, I'm honored to do this. And honestly, Spirit kept telling me that I was, ready to, to be a guest on, and I've turned down several people because I wasn't ready. And also I just felt really comfortable with you. When you invited me, it was the right time and you're the right person and it was the right everything. And I'm like, okay.
Thank you so much. I'm honored. I have God bumps from head to toe right now. So I want to know, kind of to start out, I just want to know a little bit about how your gifts came about and what brought you to this point. I see who you are today and all of the accomplishments and all of the great things that you do. but I kind of like to know how C got here.
Wow. You know, it's interesting. When I first, maybe I could take off the glasses because I don't need to read anything right now. Although I'm so used to wearing them. When I realize now that I've been a psychic since I was a child, that I've been a sensitive. I know I always knew I was sensitive, but I just thought it was a disability. And I was told it was a disability, you know, that, oh, you're too sensitive and you talk too fast and you're too this and you're too that. And I was always too something, you know, too muchness. And I was always judged for that. And I judged myself extremely harshly, coming from a family of people that judge. But that aside, I was already interested in astrology as a child. My mother was she wasn't a professional astrologer, but she did it as a hobby. She would go to parties and like did read people's sun signs or whatever. It was her like her shtick, you know, her thing. And I learned astrology very young, and I continued with that, not so much now, but for a lot of years I was interested. And then I watched my mom, and these are things that I like that are coming back to me, memories where my mom, I was with my best friend growing up, and my mother and her mother were sitting we were little girls eating salt under the table or butter or something ridiculous. We're little girls, and our mothers were sitting at the dining room table with a Ouija board, and Iris, which was her mother, and she's in spirit now, was the one that was doing the board. She was psychic. See, in my family, everybody else was psychic, somebody else in another family, a friend or something, but it wasn't us. You know what I mean? My
Yeah.
mom's like, so it wasn't, but you know, interestingly, I've got to share that I recently had an amazing guest. I have always amazing guests. And but Gordon Robert, who is an astrologer, and I said to him, well, you know, astrology, that's something that you can study, right? You know, I know, because he's like, you wouldn't have been drawn to it if you weren't already like predisposed and however I'm paraphrasing, but ooh, that was a big awakening for me, because of course it makes so much sense, right?
It does. It really does.
So, I mean, I wasn't just a random child interested in astrology for no reason.
Well, and don't you find that what your passions are, and that if that was an interest that you had as is that's really becomes your mission. When people say,
Yes.
what's my mission? What's my purpose here? And I'll say to them, what's your passion? What's your passion? And that
Exactly.
always leads. So you as a child had a great interest in astrology.
I already knew.
What did you think of the Ouija board? I have to ask, when you talked about your mom and her friend doing the Ouija board, what was that like for you as a child?
It was interesting but boring because I was little, but then it went flying off the table at the end of the conversation. So apparently Iris said, well, just one more question. And the woman who was murdered like on a street down or something, her name was either Faith or Charity or something like that. I'm telling you, we were young, but anyway, so she said no more. And then the planchette went flying off the board. And so I thought, okay. I wasn't scared, but you hear all that ridiculous stuff that's not true from Hollywood about Ouija boards and the board and all that stuff. And none of it's true, but I grew up thinking I just won't have one. I just won't play with that. I had to overcome a lot of limiting beliefs about boards. Honestly, I don't have one now, but I would totally use one because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just another tool, like a pendulum, like oracle cards or anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's the whole thing. This was something that, obviously I believe that we pick our families, we pick our parents, and we pick our everything, and that we come in at a certain time with a certain name and all of those things. So obviously this was something that you were supposed to be exposed to. You picked that so that you could fulfill your current mission. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know it. I chose a mother who was very into metaphysics to a degree. I chose a father who didn't bother him one way or the other. you know. And as a matter of fact, as a teenager, we all had our tea leaves read. My dad got like a kick out of it. He's with me in spirit right now. He's laughing, but I'm just saying, but you know, he's like, all right, that's cool. You know, he like humored us. But at the same time, you know, I think like a lot of us, and I'm just sharing this because I feel like a lot of people, I chose not my father, my mother, like very unsupportive of, you know, what I wanted to do. So it's an interesting, we do choose our parents, Jeryl Ann. We do, definitely. And we choose the scenarios, and we choose what we want to overcome. And I feel like a lot of us, I feel myself, I feel you, I feel a lot of us light workers right now chose some very challenging situations and circumstances in life to overcome in order to be who we are today at this very now moment, that during this global awakening, during this reset that we're going through.
I agree with you so much. In fact, that's my whole platform. I think that the more challenges that we had, the more compassionate that we are, and we can understand and we can see why people act out the way they do. We can see why people use substances or whatever it is that they need to get through. And yet those very things, there are no victims. And I know you agree with that. There are absolutely no victims, that we are exactly where we need to be. And we went through exactly what we needed to. But in those challenges, we became very compassionate. And I know that you've got lots and strong. Yeah. So
strong.
Yeah.
Boundaries, girl.
Exactly.
Boundaries. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. And that's one of your healthy boundaries, is one of your blog articles that I read today. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I love
So
this.
we're right there. We're right there right now. So expand upon that just a few, if you would, about healthy boundaries, because the healthy boundaries is part of raising our vibration, is it not?
Absolutely. You can't, it's, I would say it's probably, it might be the one, if I had to narrow it down, which is hard to do, but like probably the most important thing that I've ever done to change my life was set boundaries. Otherwise, I mean, you know, I mean, make a long story very short. My mother was, I don't label anybody now. It doesn't serve us to label people or ourselves, but I'm just going to throw this out there because it makes the story make sense. So I used to label my mother as a narcissist because it helped me to understand where my patterns came from. So my mother was controlling. I wasn't groomed to be myself. I was groomed to please somebody else. And I went through several marriages and relationships, a lot, ridiculous, doing the same thing over and over and over again. I just kept, believe it or not, like marrying my mother, not really, but you know what I'm saying? Another person who I'm trying to please, and they're unpleasable. And I'm like, oh, please let me, like, you know, lick your boots or whatever. Not really, but you know what I'm saying?
No.
So, so you have to go through that. But when you wake up and you're like, wait a minute, something inside me never felt right. I was never in alignment. I always knew, you know, we're psychic, or so, and we're very sensitive. All of the light workers are. So you know that what this person's saying isn't true. And you know, like if you're experiencing gaslighting or something, you know it's not okay, but you do it anyway. You go against, you're going against, you're in resistance to spirit. You're in resistance to your alignment.
Right.
So when we align with our inner being, with our higher self, with source, with God, when we align and we follow our intuition, well, then we have to set boundaries, because then you have to say no when you mean no, and you have to say yes when you mean yes.
Yes.
And you know what and you have to, like, remove people from your life when they don't resonate with. I mean, I'm not saying you have to, like, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm not. I did this for me.
But I understand it. But what you're, if I'm getting you correct, is that by setting boundaries, you're setting boundaries for your highest good. And
Yes.
Those who are not in alignment with your highest good, just as if you're not in alignment with someone else's highest and greatest good, you're going to organically move away from them. You're going to attract that vibrational energy which mirrors your own. And I don't even take it as you're telling people what to do. But here's the thing: right now we have been asking for this as light workers, as a spiritual community. We have been asking for this for decades. We have said things cannot continue as they're going. They just can't keep going as they're going. And yet, here it came. It, when we ask for something, we always want to put on it how. Okay, I want it to look like this. But guess what? Spirit doesn't work that way. God, creator, source, whatever you want to call it, does not work that way. It said, okay, you asked for it, you got it, the planet needs it, you need it. So put on your big girl panties and let's move through this. And what you're saying is, you know, now is the time. And I'm like, I've been married 4 times. I've had more relationships than I can count, like you. Be a pleaser, be a pleaser. The next person will make me happy, because we're not taught how to make ourselves happy, for sure. We're so busy making everybody else happy that we just go from pillar to post to pillar to post. And then you wake up, like you said, you wake up and that's what you've done. So you're the boundaries are so important, so that the vibration that you attract is the one that is for your highest and greatest good. And another point I want to bring up that I would love for you to speak to is intention, because that kind of, once you start to set boundaries, you're kind of doing it out of intention. And where do you set your intention beyond that? And for people, what does that look like?
I live a very, very intentional life. And what does that mean? That means that I tune into everything. Like, before I grab this from the refrigerator, I literally like felt it. I'm pretty quick now, but in the beginning, I would like feel it for a moment, wait, feel something else. And I'm like, which one do I want more? I want this one. Now I can just go like, that's the one. I mean, I could do the same thing for my tea bag, for the cup I want to use, for the underwear that I want to wear, everything. I live an aligned, intentional life. Everything is aligned in it. And so when something doesn't feel right, it's really obvious to me now. And I'm not saying I'm 100% perfect. I said yes to something the other day that I didn't really want to say yes to. I'm like, did I really do that? Did I really? But it was something so tiny. You know what I mean? And it was not an harm to anybody. It was fine. But I was upset with myself, because I'm like, I know better than that.
Right.
It's hard. Sometimes boundaries are easier to set with people that maybe don't have your highest good in mind. But if it's somebody that's a perfectly nice person, you just don't want to hurt their feelings, but you still have to do what's best for you. Because people pleasing, it's funny, Jeryl Ann, we think when we're in victim mode, when we are people pleasers, that we're actually pleasing people. People pleasers are actually quite selfish. And I know, because I was one for years, and I would never have guessed that back then. But digging and realizing now, it's all because we don't want to have any contrast. So we try to like please everybody and make everybody else happy, because it makes us feel good.
Right. And
we don't want any problems, but we're not like, it's not really pleasing to anybody. It's much more, for me, I would rather have somebody tell me the truth, and as long as there's no need to ever be rude to anybody. That's not coming from your heart center. But come from your heart center and be honest with somebody, and then they can count on you to always come from your heart center and be honest.
Exactly.
You're not going to be that friend that lets you walk around with like a booger in your nose all day, saying,
like, yeah, exactly. And that's so true, though. See, it really is. It's like, it's being your authentic self, being in integrity with yourself, and setting the intentions that are in integrity with who you are. Because if we do step out, and I kind of look at this as the flip side of narcissism. Narcissists are very, very me. And that comes from a place of insecurity, a low self-esteem, and everything else. And so, to me, I mean, growing up with one, the flip side is trying to please all the time. It's the other side, to me, to that coin of narcissism. So, and neither work.
Right.
Both are exceptionally draining and unpleasant, because there is that neediness that people feel when you're trying to please everyone all the time. And you're right. The nicest, kindest thing you can do is to be authentic, because I don't know about you, but having been a pleaser my whole life, when I agree to do something and then that time comes, I end up having negative emotions attached to it, and that doesn't help anyone. So our
No,
whole purpose now, kids, is to raise the vibration.
that's right.
So
How many times have one of you said yes to something and you meant no, and then like Jeryl is saying, it comes time for you to do it, and you're like resentful. Why did they even ask me to do this? I didn't want to do. Shouldn't they know that I don't want to do this? And the whole time, it's all you did it yourself, but you're blaming somebody else, which
yeah,
serves nothing, right?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And these are really, 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 really the things that we want people to look at, because quite honestly, these are the things I've been doing my whole life, and that I'm really digging deep to bring up and out and to heal. And so I pause before I make an agreement to do anything. I have to
Yes.
pause and go, give me a little time and let me think about this. It kind of sounds really good right now, but I really got to sit with it.
Yep.
There are those immediate yeses, but then they're the ones that kind of go, oh, oh, oh. And I have to look and see if it's kind of going to just put me out of my comfort zone. And I should do it, even though it would make me uncomfortable. There are those growth scenarios. It's like you, when you agreed to be on my show. This is not something that you're used to.
No, I was definitely a little nervous about it, but I knew I was supposed to do it.
Yeah, but it took you out of
Yes
your
meant yes,
zone. But your
definitely.
authentic self, your integrity said, I need to do this and be out of my comfort zone a little bit. And I really do want people to know that it did take you a little out of your comfort zone, only
But
because
not out of my alignment, though. There's a
exactly.
difference.
But see, that's what I want you to talk about for a minute, because we've got people, and I have people that I work with, and I know there are people here watching that we asked a question this morning on the show. What is it that you really want to do that you're holding yourself back from? So would you address that of, yes, you can be out of your comfort zone, but if you're in alignment, would you address that?
Sure. Thank you for asking. It's a great question. So when you asked me, as I said, I had been asked before and I had said no. One person was so offended, she never talked to me again. I just said, no, I'm not ready yet. Let me think about it, or I'll let you know when I'm in alignment. But not everybody handles that well, and that's okay. That's okay. I have great respect for that person too. You know what I mean? It's just whatever. You have to be okay. You have to be okay with some people not being okay.
Right.
You have to be, because you're not in control of their reality. You have to let go of the outcome and the expectations and just be who you are in that moment. So when you asked me to be on the show, I knew the answer was yes. There wasn't even I need to think about it for a minute. I knew it was a yes. So being out of my comfort zone, yes, I'm usually the interviewer. I'm always the interviewer pretty much. And I'm the one in control, right? Which means I say what but I say everything anyway. I'm very transparent in my live stream. But still, this was me being like in the spotlight, and that's a little bit not in my comfort zone. Does that make sense? Even though I'm on camera, I'm not usually like, let's all talk about me. It's not.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
was totally in alignment. I knew it was the right thing to do. Source was telling me, my guides were telling me. I wasn't there. At no point did I feel like, oh, I shouldn't do this. It was never that. It was like, okay, I got to put on my makeup and get dressed, and I'm going to do this and take some deep breaths. And I meditated today. I even went into trance for a little while. I'm blending, and I'm like, okay, yes, I just did what I had to do to make myself comfortable doing what I knew was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's being in integrity with self. And so I thank you for that, because that models to so many people that when this show, and in fact John is watching right now.
John, I love John.
John is the one who named this show Rising Up with Jeryl. About 3, maybe 4 years ago, John and I were doing some work together. We went to school together, holistic life coach school.
Okay.
Together. And so we were working, and he said he would get these hits and he would be channeling. He thinks he's not, but he is so in tune. He's just so much more gifted than he'll even let on. But
we're talking about John Thaddeus Fury.
Yes, John Thaddeus Fury. And he says to me, he says, now you are going to do a show. He said, you're going to be bringing people to the forefront, and you're going to interview them, and it's going to be called Rising Up with Jeryl. And I just looked at him and I said, "You're crazy, John." I said, "That's nuts." I was in broadcasting for 12 years, but I was behind the scenes. I was a writer, producer, director. I got in front of the camera once. See, I swear to God, I thought I was going to wet myself. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think of a question. It was the worst hour of my life. I swear to you. I thought,
And you're so natural at this too.
oh, well,
Really.
thank you. It has taken some practice, but so, this is the thing. You talk about getting out of your comfort zone. I would literally have nervous breakdowns prior to airtime, and I still, it's just the last few shows I'm starting to get a little more comfortable with it. But I want people to know that it's okay to have anxiety. It's okay if your gut tells you, if your heart tells you, and you're in alignment, you need to go for it, and you need to just move through it, because it eventually will get easier and easier. And the next time somebody says to you, "Will you do this interview?" you're going to go, "Oh yeah." You're going to know it. You're going to go, "Yeah." You won't even have any of that little bit of fragment of whatever nervousness that you had before. But I do understand that, because it's so easy for me to talk to you and pull out of you what I want to know. But when people are doing it with me, I'm like, yeah.
Wait a minute. Last time I checked, I had you on my calendar. Oh, I do. Yes,
May.
on the 24th of May, I've got Jeryl and Terry Angel.
Terry Angel, or we're both going to come on. And the other thing is, and this is what John said, and I happened to see his comment, and he said, why does it take us to go through so much, like you and I both? I've been married 4 times. I've had a lot of relationships. And so, yeah. So it's like, okay, so why does it take us so long to get it? And for me, I think the short answer for me is, everyone is exactly where they need to be, and they need to learn what their soul needs to learn here, and that's all part of the experience. What's your answer to that question?
Right. Okay, I want to address 2 things. One thing I have to address is that John is the other person that asked me to be on the show to do an interview, and I declined. Not because I don't love John. I was on his show. I did agree to, I just said I don't want to be interviewed. So we did it, but we did readings and stuff. And John is just tremendous, and I think the world of him. So, and he also told me that I was ready for an interview, just so you know. Yes, John, you're very psychic, and thank you.
He is so good.
So, okay. So what was that last question? I'm so sorry. I had to
No, that's okay. No, it was more like, his question to us was, okay, so, or actually to everyone, was, why does it take us to go through so much to wake up or to shift or change?
Because we come here with lessons to learn. We come here specifically with lessons to learn. And I feel it's karma, but not karma in the way that a lot of people think of karma. Karma in the way that now that we're awakening, we understand that there's lessons that we come, like you said earlier, we come here, we choose our parents, we choose our life, we choose the blueprint of our life. Even though we have free will, we come here with lessons to learn. And so I do feel like those of us that have like I don't sound like pompous, but like a big mission. I feel like I do, and I feel like you do. But we have a big mission. We came here for a big reason, to do big things, and at this very time. And we had to go through, I feel like we knew we could do it. We knew we could live through it. We knew we'd come out on the other side. Well, if we didn't, we would go back home, right? But we knew we could do it. And we knew we'd come out on the other side, which is now, and be here to guide the other people, because Spirit's been telling me for a few years now that intuition is not just for psychics anymore. They want me to teach something called the intuitive development evolution. I don't know if maybe it's too late for that. I don't know. They've been talking about it for a while. And where it says intuition is not just for psychics anymore, where we all, and that eventually, and it's not that long from now, we're all going to be connected to our guidance, and no one's going to need to go to a psychic to receive their guidance. They're going to be tuned in. So that's what we're here to do, and show them. But the people that are the leaders now will be the masters later, and because everyone is going to be, tuning in.
Rising up.
Right, do you see what I'm saying? I don't know if it resonates with you, but that's what I received.
I absolutely agree with that. And you know, and I had this great point and I've lost it completely, but that's okay because no. This is what I love. And this is what I knew was going to happen with you. It's like there are so many thoughts going boom, 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 that my mind's going here, my mind's going here. I'm going, yeah. This is so exciting. This is so great. Yeah. And that's the whole point of right now. Oh, I know what it was. It's that like you said, we're strong, and
Yes.
those who, and I'm seeing names that are going by, and I know each and every one of those people have faced challenges that would just crush mere mortals, you know. And yet look at them, they're not only here, they're thriving. And what we're going through right now takes strength, it takes courage, it takes faith, it
Yes.
takes vision, it takes love, it takes compassion. And to get that, we get that from surviving, right? We're not victims. None of us are victims. We chose our path. But here's the truth of it. It wasn't easy. It was not easy at all. And we are all the stronger for it. And each and every one of those people that I see that are on here, I know every single one of them have come through some of the greatest challenges that would just knock most people down. And that is part of why I agree that we went through this so that we would be as strong as we are right now.
And that the other people can relate to us.
Yeah.
You see, because as you're saying that, this is coming to me. How else would we? Okay, if you and I had these perfect lives where we were raised by these perfect parents, and we have these lovely times, and here we are in front of everybody, and all these people had these rough times, and how are we going to understand? How are they going to relate to us? We had to. We had to go through what we went through, and now people are, you know, the people who have had similar, any kind of similar experience that resonates. They're like, wait a minute, you mean you can live a really high vibrational life? You can create your own reality. You can be happy in the midst. You can be calm in the midst of chaos and be happy in the middle of all this. Yeah,
Yeah, you can.
absolutely.
We're positive that you can. Absolutely. And that's just it. And I always had that sense, you know, people say, wow, you've been through so much, you got to write a book, you got to do this, you got to. I said, you know what? Here's the thing. I went through so much and so much variety of things because then we can relate to a broader percentage of the public.
Yes, yes, yes.
I mean, I never had kids.
Me neither.
I studied. I had husbands, you know, husbands and animals, you know. That's what I collected. I collected men, you know. And so, you know, but that came with its own, you know, set of experiences. And certainly all I did was study. I stepped on a spiritual path 35 years ago, and I haven't looked back since. But that, even on that path, the only thing that kept me alive was being on that path in my darkest days and most addled and addicted days. That's what kept me alive. And so we have a strength. We have, and here's the thing too that I find, and I don't know, see if you feel the same way or not, but when you go through what we've been through, you can't not have faith. I mean, when you're sitting where we're sitting and you look back, you go, wow, yeah, there is something out there that's way bigger than me. And if what I'm thinking and how I'm creating my reality, I would not be sitting here today if I wasn't so powerful. And please speak to that divine spark, that part of us that is so magnificently powerful.
We are all extensions of source energy. We are all God incarnate. And I went through a lot of different explorations. I was born Jewish. I didn't believe in the religion. I believed in Christ, but then I studied Buddhism and I studied Wicca and I practiced, you know, all these different things. But I always had this, you know, like a lot of people, this firm thing, oh, but there is a God and there is one God and you have to believe in God is outside of yourself. And so a lot of Abraham, by the way, my teachers that through the years, and mostly Abraham Hicks. I can't even tell you how many thousands of hours, and 2 live shows, and also Cryon and Bashar and Wendy Kennedy and the Peas. And I mean, I've been absorbing and soaking in non-physical energy and messages for years now, which is really a big thing. And Abraham Hicks, that's huge. If you haven't checked out Abraham, honestly, that's the law of attraction is what my teachings are based on. And Abraham is, in my opinion, the best law of attraction teacher on the planet.
Right.
And I feel like I need to say something else. Most people, I think everyone actually, my impression of addiction, because I used to go through that too, was that people are looking for something outside of themselves. And this speaks to the God thing too. They're looking for something outside of themselves, God outside of themselves, something that feels good, a drink or a drug or sex or someone that says something kind to them, or maybe something that says somebody says something unkind. Some people are addicted to negative things, right?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You're looking for something outside of you to make you feel a way that you want to feel, even if it's not a good way. It's a way that you want to feel.
Yes.
And everything that we need is in here. Yes, we are God. We are all extensions of source energy. I don't have that. Do I? Hang on a second. Let me see. I usually have it right with me. Okay, there's a tree of life on the Abraham Hicks keychain, and a lot of you have already know what that looks like, where Abraham always says the greater portion of us, the greater part of us is in non-physical. We're just a fragment. So if you picture the tree of life, there's a big portion above, and then there's like the trunk, and then there's some roots underneath. Well, they're the roots. All right. Most of us is up here. We could never get all of our energy into these little tiny bodies. And we have the great forgetting. We forget. I know most of you probably know this. We have this great forgetting. We're born forgetting that we are part of the energy that creates worlds. We forget that, and so we grow and we expand and we have contrast and that's why we come here. That's why we come here.
Well, exactly.
Answer one thing. Before we started, you said to me, how can we help others to raise their vibration? And I have to address that because we can't influence. Well, we can influence by keeping our vibration high, but we can't. No one can create anybody else's reality.
Right.
So the way that I personally know that I raise vibration is by being high vibrational. And I feel like you do the same thing. But if we were to focus on how am I going to raise your vibration, then we've given away our power.
Right. And I say that in the sense that a lot of people don't understand what you input is what creates your vibration. So if you're watching, I'm a big YouTuber and Gaia TV, and I love to watch Abraham Hicks. There are so many great high vibrational speakers out there.
Dr.
And I haven't read a fictional, I haven't read a regular novel, for 35 years. And everything that you input, whether it's, when you watch the news, it takes your vibration down. When you watch anything negative or intense drama or with a lot of pain or negative emotions, it takes your vibration down. So what you feed yourself is really what's going to raise your vibration. And in that sense, it's like laughter. What is it? Laughter is one of the greatest ways to build the immune system and to raise your vibration. So when we talk about helping people raise their vibration, it's about, these are tips and tricks, and these are things you can do. One of your other blogs, I love your blogs, by the way. You gotta write a few more of those.
I swear I didn't know anybody read my blog. So now, and I am, okay, thank you. I will definitely write more.
Yeah, please do. Meditation. Meditation is a way to raise your vibration.
Huge.
Yeah. But people, it's one of those things that when you say, and I was guilty, I am one of them, where my guys would go, you've got to meditate every day. Well, I'm 62 years old. And so I think of transcendental meditation, back in the day, that was one of the first big TM was so big. Mm-hmm. And I think, okay, it's got to be this process. And I have this monkey mind and I make it so complicated. But when I read your thing on meditation, I loved it. So would you just speak to meditation for a moment?
Yes, and I don't remember what I wrote, but I can tell you that I've been meditating now for a few years. And in fact, Abraham, it was okay. So apparently Esther Hicks listens to Central Air to go to meditate, not music, but Central Air. And Abraham recommends to meditate 20 minutes a day. So I did, because they said, and this is how I got started, because they said Esther started channeling in 8 months by meditating 20 minutes a day and listening to Central Air. I'm like, I'm game. I'm in. But as soon as I started meditating, I started doing an hour a day. Time just like there is no time, and I step outside of time. And then it wasn't. Yes, in the beginning, the first few minutes, well, the first maybe a few days even, it was challenging. But and even the first few minutes, if I'm having a, I'm like, my mind is like woohoo. And
Yeah.
so for me to go from this to like silence, well, I don't always want to, but I because I'm having a really good time, I don't really have to either. But let's say that I want to. Maybe I want to blend with spirit because I'm doing trance too, or I want to meditate because I feel it's very important. I did that today, of course. And so it's important to be able to just shut it down. And the first few minutes, maybe even the first 5 or 10 minutes, you might still have thoughts coming by, and you just let them float away on a cloud. Just don't attach to them. Observe the thoughts and just don't connect with them. They're allowed to be there. Just let them float away. It won't be long if you want to meditate. Not everyone wants to sit and meditate like this. I happen to really enjoy it. There's also walking meditations. There's all different ways to meditate. Washing my dishes. I don't know if I wrote that, but literally I hand wash all my, well, I don't have a machine anyway, but I wouldn't use it if I did, because I like to wash my dishes. I like the feel of the water on my hands. And as I'm doing these, or mop my floor, and as I'm doing these repetitive tasks, spirit is talking to me, because I don't have to think about what I'm doing. So I'm doing something like redundant. Is that the right word for this? Something routine and repetitive.
Yeah, repetitive.
Thank
Yeah.
you, repetitive. And the next thing I know, I'm getting all these brilliant ideas. I'm like, oh, thank you. And I have to like run into my office and type something up, or
Yeah.
meditation is profound. It's really the answer to everything, because I feel that it's quieting. We get so caught up in, and this is going to be the answer to your question directly. We get so caught up in the 3D world, which is not as 3D anymore, but you know what I mean? All the drama and the chaos, and Lord knows now with all the stuff, people can get all caught, especially if people watch TV. I haven't had a TV in like 10 years, and I haven't watched the news in longer than that. So, but hang on, I got get out of my thing. Okay, yeah. So we have to quiet our minds in order to release the the 3D thoughts, and to allow in, like a funnel, to allow in the bigger picture, to connect with the greater part of us, which, as I said, is, as spirit says, is a non-physical. So in order to connect with our team, or a higher self, or the angels, or source, or the galactics, or anyone, we need to be this needs to be quieted, or we're not going to receive, or we're going to start trying to filter what we're receiving.
Right.
Will get in the way. So the best way to, just even if you meditate for 10 minutes, your perspective on life is going to shift. It's going to just start to shift, because you realize that you're not this one little speck of, human thing on this earth, and I'm going to live today and die tomorrow, and oh no, I'm so scared. You know what I mean? You realize the bigger picture, and then everything is really okay. That's how I see it anyway.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I think it's really important for us physically to just calm ourselves down occasionally, and just to go into that deep, kind of space of, I'm a pretty A-type personality. I pretty much hit the ground running. And of course, I thought I was until Terry moved in with me. She got stuck here. She came to do the day of transformation over a month ago, and then the stay in order came, and of course she's from Fort Lauderdale, so where she lives, it would have just been insane for her to go back into that. And her friend, everyone, we all convinced her to stay here at the river, because she was just safer here at the river than to go back down into that, and she wouldn't be alone, and we wouldn't be alone, and we went into isolation together. I really thought I was very active, and I, go from early in the morning till late at night until she moved in. Now I've stayed with Terry for, like a week at a time, a week and a half at a time. She's come to the river and stayed, and I've gone to Fort Lauderdale. But that woman is like the Energizer Bunny on steroids. I swear to you. And so, I I'm kind of, and it's in, but here's the thing, and it's about raising my vibration, because she's really, really busy. But the things she's doing are serving mankind, they're serving humanity, and her vibration is very, very high. And so my vibration now is getting higher and higher. And I thought it was high before, but it's even more so. And it's more steady in that way, because hers is steady in that way. Not that we haven't both been processing, and then this is part of it. And but it really makes a difference who is around you and who you surround yourself with. I know you went yesterday, was it yesterday, with your friend Diane, and y'all had this great, I saw the pictures, and I mean, you guys were just glowing. You were like, you looked like you were going to spontaneously combust. That is like,
we stopped and we sang to this beautiful horse. Diane is the most amazing. There's a book that's going to be written, and it's all about how this woman's friendship changed my life. Truly, the most naturally high vibrational soul I've ever met, and I adore her. I can't say enough nice things about my awesome friend Diane. So we go on these adventures, and we used to go on a lot of symphonic adventures where we'd go to see the Space Coast Symphony Orchestra. They are amazing, but they're not playing right now. So, and normally, and she's a pet sitter. She has her own pet sitting business, and she's very, very busy. Like you're talking about Terry, I'm picturing Diane. She's always busy, and if she, she'll be like, I'll come over, I'll walk the dogs with you, and we'll talk for a little while. Okay, I'll see you then. I have a lot more time on my hands because I schedule myself that way. I do that intentionally. I want my time. But anyway, so we went to the sunflower field. We went to the real sunflower field nearby, and it was amazing. Oops, did I lose my volume? Hang on, I think I leaned on it.
oh, you're okay. I can hear you. Yeah.
And then she's showing me, because she's been here for years. I'm actually from Fort Lauderdale, so I'm not really. I've only been here like 6 years, and I don't know much around here. And anyway, so she's like, "Oh, I'll take you to the water." We go to the water, and we go wherever spirit leads us. That's how we do our adventures. Whatever we sometimes we have like a plan, like, "Oh, let's go to see the sunflowers." Okay, that sounds good, and the rest of it just happens.
Yeah.
Even when she and I went to see Abraham, like in Miami or whatever, that was the plan. We had to book the hotel room and buy the ticket to that, but everything else was spontaneous.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it. So we pulled over and sang to this beautiful horse. She said, "This horse is an older horse, been out in this field for years, never has any company. Sometimes the wild turkeys will come, but there's no other horse." And I said, "Let's go sing to the horse." So she pulls over, and I pulled out my phone, which I've been singing on Smule, right? And I said, "What should we sing?" She goes, "A horse with no name." I said, "Okay," and we did.
I love it.
Oh my God! And the horse, beautiful horse. It's
those pictures.
there,
Yeah.
female anyway, had a swollen, but with a swollen leg, walked all the way over to the fence because we were singing, and Diane's rubbing her and then doing healing on her leg, and I'm singing and recording. It was just an amazing adventure. It was so great.
And that, my friends, is how you raise your vibration. You just go with spirit, you go with your intuition, you go with your heart, and you go with what feels good. And finding the joy. And our friend Diane Beiersdorfer, she works with inner children, and that's her thing. And I have been loving her shows because, and that's another thing, watch people like C, watch people like Diane, watch people like Terry, watch those of us that are bringing people like you out and sharing what's going on, because that's the good input, that's the good stuff that makes you feel better. It inspires you. You guys inspire me to find the inner child. I have been getting to know little Jeryl inside, because I don't know about you, but I was raised in a family that you kind of are seen and not heard. Not that we were quiet, because we weren't, but it there was a lot of rules with how that I was raised in a Lutheran family, and I very structured, and you have to behave a certain way, and you don't say certain things, and you have to hold it in and don't be too expressive. And so, and again, I chose them. They were raised by their parents, and they were raised by their parents, and they were raised by their parents, and that was just the way it was done. We are now, this is the new world, kids. Yes. We're the ones who gets to make the new rules. We get to make the new rules, and we're the ones saying, okay, this is what's really going to work for us, because guess what? That other stuff didn't work for us at all. It did not work for us at all. And so here we are, raise your vibration, go sing to a horse. Now, you see, if the old me would not have had the guts to do that, see, I admired that so much that you just went up and you did that. I would have been thinking, oh my God, I'm trespassing, and the owner's going to come and I'm going to get shot. And oh my God, I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that. And I can't, oh my gosh, I'm going to get in trouble if I do this. That's the old way. Yours is the new way. That is raising your vibration.
And honestly, I used to be very shy, believe it or not. I used to be very shy. Even when I first started hanging out with Diane, like if we had to walk by somebody in the aisle to get to our seats, I would be like, she's like, all right, I'll do it. And then she would say, excuse me, she's so friendly, but we inspire each other. She said, I used to be shy. I'm like, you used to be shy? And we look at each other like, really? But the two of us together, we're just like, and I don't think either one of us are shy now, but it's really when you have a friend who really loves and supports you and doesn't judge you ever, yeah. And you don't judge them ever, and you just appreciate each other, and you don't have any expectations about what a friend is supposed to be or what they're supposed to do or not supposed to do. It's nothing like that. You just appreciate each other in that moment and just have fun in the moment. And I swear it's the most incredible experience ever. And I've been, and I want to point something out, because most people, I don't know about most people, a lot of people are not single. I chose to be single. I chose, after 4 or 5, I lost count, marriages as well, to not even consider another relationship unless one day I was able to, and this is back like 6 years ago already, that I made that plan, when I said, I'm never again going to go into another route, another part of that pattern where I think someone's different and they're not. I have to change. I was the common denominator. So long story short, I choose to remain single. And I want you to know that a lot of you, if you're drawn to be single and just empower yourself and love yourself and marry your darn self, you go for it. Yeah. And you just give your love your friends, love your dogs, love human, love the trees, share your love. You don't have to hold your love for that one special person in the world. I swear, it's like, just be loving and people, and just be, you love and you'll receive love too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's how
I do. It is really all about love. And I think you hit on something that I think is probably one of the most important points that we need to look at right now, and that is self-love. The greatest way to raise your vibration is self-love. And we are taught from an early age on that self-love is selfish, and it is not. It is not selfish. And to love yourself like the way you're loving yourself and the way I'm learning to love myself. I just noticed that my name says Terry Angel underneath there.
Oh my God, you're right, it does. I didn't even, because I don't have my glasses on either.
And what's really funny is Terry says self-love is not selfish.
It's true.
And so, or self-care is not selfish. It's both of those, I think, though. So needless to say, it is not. And I really believe that self-love is the way we have to go, because through love, all good things come from that. And what you're talking about is self-love. And then 100%. When you love yourself, then it just flows out to everyone else.
It does. And if you don't love yourself, you can't love other people.
Right.
You can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. If you find yourself judging somebody else, stop and take a look at yourself, because it's something inside of you that they're mirroring back to you. It's something that you haven't dealt with yet, or that maybe you need to deal with again.
Absolutely. And
self-love is not selfish. And also self-love and self-care is about, and boundaries are all the same. They're all part of the same thing. And it doesn't mean I'm only about me and I don't care about you. No, when you're really in alignment and you're living your best life, you're singing to horses and interviewing friends and sharing your light. And you don't have to intentionally try, because that doesn't work, to do something to change somebody else's experience. You just live your best experience and then share, just be, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, this is all mine. It's like, nah, you know what? I even find the same thing with money. I get money, I give money, whatever. It comes and it goes and it comes and it comes some more. I'm like, here's some more. Oh, more came in. Oh, I'll give some more. It really does work that way. And we have a lot of, limiting beliefs that we can overcome about all kinds of different subjects. And that's part of our journey, to love ourselves the most. But I'm so glad that you brought up self-love. That's the most important thing.
It really is. And we give it out, and that's what you just said, and I just want to emphasize that over and over and over. The more we love it's like the oxygen mask in the plane,
Yes,
yes. Mask come down, put it on yourself first, right? And then you can take care of the person next to you.
Yes,
because if you love yourself, it shows, it glows. You glow, I glow.
You do. Yeah. You glow big time. Yeah.
Oh, we're glowing.
We were drawn to each other. We're a vibrational match.
Yes, we are. And it's like, I had a friend, I saw a comment. She says, like, you're on fire. And it's like, I am so excited. There is so much love and there is so much energy. And it's so positive and so healthy and so wonderful. This is how you raise your vibration. You connect with people that bring that out in you. Love yourself, take care of yourself, take that long Epsom salt soak bath, do whatever it takes to make you feel good. Diane, one of the things that she says, put on some music and just dance like a child. I
do that with my dogs too.
Do you with that? Yes. Who was it that said, I can't remember who it was today, said something about, can we do that with our pets too? And it's like, absolutely, we can do that with our pets. So you know what? My love is gonna just like I'm gonna cry, because it's time for us to wrap this up, and I'm having such a great time. See, oh my gosh, I don't want to say goodbye at all. But you're gonna have to, will you come back on again?
I would be honored.
I would love it. I would love it. And I think everybody else would love it too.
And you're going to be on my show on the 24th of May. You will be there with Terry Angel. And I'm so excited for that show.
I am too. And I have here, and I picked this color just for you. I'm going to go this way.
Thank you. How pretty is that? I love that.
You are so vibrant. And I just thought that red and pink goes love and heart and red and vibrant and passionate. This color reminds me of you. I know sunflowers are your trademark, but I didn't have a sunflower, but I saw these colors and I went, oh my gosh, that's so her. So
you tuned into my energy, and I love that. They're beautiful. I resonate with them very much. Yeah.
I know that you do psychic readings. I saw that on your blog, but you do way more than that. Could you tell people a little bit more of what you do? And I have these addresses up, and I know that there's some other, I think Terry put your other things. I couldn't fit them all on here.
I do psychic readings. I love doing readings for people, and oh gosh. So I suppose so funny. I was all of a sudden I'm like, bleh. All right. So yes, if you'd like to book a reading with me, I definitely do readings. I do 1-hour readings and 30-minute readings. They're always high vibrational, but Spirit's going to come through and tell you the truth. I open up and if you see me now, that's the person you're going to be talking to when I read for you too. So I also do live stream readings. I do public readings. I do them a lot, not as much this month. Normally I do them twice a week. Recently I've been doing them once a week on Mondays at 8:00 at night, where I go on and I do like 5 cards for $25, whatever. You'll see if you do it. But there's always, even if you don't choose, you can certainly choose to donate and get a reading. But if you choose not to donate, there's still going to be a message for you always, because Spirit always knows who's watching, even before what is it Abraham talks about, like before we drag our human bodies there, we've already gathered energetically. So Spirit always knows. And I also do energetic cord removals, but I only do that by invitation, meaning I've already given you a reading and I feel that you need one, and then I invite you to book one if you're drawn. And I do the same thing with coaching. So I do coaching set packages. I have ascension coaching and intuitive life coaching. But again, I need to read for you first, and if we resonate and I feel drawn to offer that to you, then I offer it. And if it's something that you want, then we book a package for you. So a lot of things that I offer, I don't have on my public page, including times. If you want a specific time, inbox me, because I like to have a lot of space in between my times. I meditate before my clients. I shower, put makeup on. You know what I mean? I have my own ritual thing that I do. So I don't book back to back. It's just not how I operate. And so there may be a time that you want and you're thinking, oh, I don't see it on the Facebook page. And if you just inbox me, we'll talk about it. I promise we'll work it out, because I've got clients all over the world. So, and I would love to read for you guys and work with you also. And watch my live streams.
Amazing.
Oh, one last thing, on Sundays, every Sunday night,
Yes, that was my good next thing. I want you to tell everybody about Sunday. Yeah, you're psychically reading my mind.
I'm psychic. I am, because every Sunday on High Vibrational Mastery, the page, I interview spiritual thought leaders. You are clearly one of them, my dear. Spiritual thought leaders from around our world and beyond. And Spirit gave me that a long time ago, and I say it every time, because it's true. And so, and that's what we do. And what we're doing, what I'm doing, my whole goal, the goal of High Vibrational Mastery is truly to raise the vibration of the planet one soul at a time. And so that's what we do. And thank you.
See, you've got to come back on, because this was just like the most fun I've had in so long. Oh my gosh. You realize I'm going to be up till at least midnight tonight, and I got to get up and do the show at 7:30 in the morning, which is fine, because this was worth any. I'm just going to be like, like, for hours on end,
Thank you so much. I believe it or not, I've had some guests tell me like 3 days later, I'm still buzzing from being on your show.
That does not surprise me at all. It really doesn't surprise me. So please do get in touch with C. You will not regret it. Oh my gosh. It's been such a delight. And please join me next Saturday night at 8 p.m. I have Sharon Rhea with me next Saturday, and she has whole family coaching. And, with everything that's going on, she is an amazing woman. She started the movement, No Judgment, Just Love. And it's this great movement that she started years ago, and she's been getting awards for it. It's just incredible. And she teaches in the schools, in the prisons, everywhere. No judgment, just love.
I want to see that.
Join me as Sharon comes on with me next week. And in the meantime, everybody, have a great rest of your weekend.
Can I share one last quick thing?
Yes. I
really want to just recommend that no one has to watch the news. No, I really recommend that you don't. And even though things are going on, Spirit's going to show you tell you what you need to know, when you need to know, what you don't need to say, oh my God, I better pay attention to all this. The best way to stay high vibrational is to remove your attention from what you don't want to create and focus your attention on what you do want to create. I had to say that. Thank you. Sorry.
I'm so glad. I'm in 100% alignment with you on that. I've asked my husband not even to watch the news anymore, and so we don't have the news in our house. I haven't watched it in years. So thank you. And thank you all. I hope you all just have the greatest week ahead of you, filled with little miracles, big miracles, and all kinds of love and blessings. Lots of love to all of you. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.